And welcome one and all down to UWA Sports Park on a beautiful Wednesday. It is a Wednesday, right? Wednesday evening for the second semi-final in the Women's WA State Cup. The winner will go on to play Perth Red Star. They decimated Curtin last night by the tune of 4-0, all 4 goals scored in the first half, and then it was cruise control after that. They have been the team to beat all season. And our hosts tonight, away from their usual home, Perth Soccer Club, have come as close as anyone to knocking off Red Star. They went down by a solitary 0-0 when these two sides met back in round 12 on the 18th of June. No other side has come that close this season. Well, no side's gone closer, obviously. I think there was one other 1-0 they had, but this Perth Soccer Club side pride itself on their defensive record, one of the best defensive records, not just in the league this season, but in the women's NPL history. They have conceded just 7 goals in the league in their 13 games. That's almost a goal every 2 games. It's only one worse than the table-topping Perth Red Star that we've already mentioned, who they'll be hoping to meet in the final. In their way tonight, the visitors, Balcatta. They played on the weekend, actually, these two sides, and it was Perth getting up, and then Abby Meakin's winner. And they'll be looking to repeat the dose tonight. Both sides accomplished defensively, so don't expect a lot of goals. Certainly, Balcatta don't score a ton, but they also have a solid defensive record, tied for 3rd in the league with Murdoch, who they will play on the weekend on Sunday. I'll be down at that game. That will be huge in the run-in for the top 4, but all their sights tonight will be on the State Cup final and a chance to dent Perth Red Star's perfect season. They have switched ends. Perth Soccer Club will attack to the left of your screen as you're watching. Balcatta in their navy blue with the red trim attacking the right of screen. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you're watching on NPL.tv or on the Facebook page. I'm Sean Fry. I'll be calling the action for you tonight. I'll give you a quick look at the lineups in a second. As I mentioned, both these sides played just 3 days ago on Sunday. 2 changes to the hosts as Faye Phillip and Jess Byrne come off the bench. Nadia Harvey and Jamie Gibbons take their place on the pine. While for Balcatta, 3 changes to the side that played Perth on Sunday, with Gabby Dalbusco and Monique Prinsloo out with COVID, and Alia Jorquera dropping to the bench. Replacing them, Isabella Comito in goal. Talia Diopra joining Monique Diopra in the starting lineup, and Georgia Cawley also started on the bench on Sunday, but figures in the starting 11 tonight. So the Sunday match went to the script. Tight, hard-fought tussle between 2 excellent defensive sides. And Perth just getting over the line, and they earn themselves a free kick here on the far side. A team that shares the goals around the visitors. Their top scorer in the league is Monique Prinsloo, who is missing tonight with just the 5 goals. And then it says a little about how much they share it around, that they have 6 scorers with just 1 goal. And the second highest scorer for Balcatta this season in the league, tied with Monique Godding, is own goals with 2. Cut out well there as Perth looked to go forward. That ball just a little strong, looking for Epple Nossen. This is Jess Byrne with the ball in her hands. Seen her play most of her football at centre half. Looks like she's playing at left back tonight. Here's Jamie Duncanson. A little strong for Meekins, but it ricochets back, and this is Van Herk spreading it wide to the right fullback, Spatafor. Ball inside for Spadano. Too strong for her and a little wayward, and instead finds her opposite number, Monique Godding. She drops it back and takes off forward, leaves a big hole in the middle there and a bit of space in behind here, and a chance for Lauren Continabali. The flag is up, and boy, that was close. That was a mighty close one for the assistant referee. That's Reese Wakelam on the near touchline. Kayla Elief running the line on the far side. Niall Gilmore, the official in control of this match. Leviu Katona, the fourth official tonight. It is a beautiful evening down here in Claremont. Byrne knocks it back to Van Herk. No one wants to go to her, and then stand off, and she gives the ball away. Nice little touch there. This one will be offside if the Balcatta forward gets onto it. That was a clear one. Just going a bit early there, Cass Harvey on the left wing tonight, and overplaying it a little there, Perth. Almost a chance for Continabali. Meekins stepping in. Diagonal headed away by Diopra. I'll do my best not to get the Diopras mixed up. It looks like Monique's playing centre half, Talia at left back. But very similar running styles, very similar haircuts. Just trying to make it as difficult as they can for me, I reckon. But yes, three, Talia at left back, Monique at left centre back. Van Herk strolls forward and finds Duncanson. Diagonal ball there, cut out by Talia Diopra. It'll be dropped back to her by Cassandra Harvey. If she can field it before it goes out, she'll probably play it back to the other Diopra. She can't get there. Spadano. Well tackled. It ricochets to Godding. You can see both sides trying to feel their way into this match. Well cut out there. The pass from Diopra. And cleared, but Perth with an extended spell of possession. Van Herk has Duncanson out on the left touchline. Comes to her now. Duncanson can go back to Byrne, or she can come inside for Judy Connolly. Opts for the latter, and Connolly spreads it across for Phillips. Phillips gives and gets with Spatafor. And now Spadano in a bit of space. Look to just bounce one off Connolly. Defender got in the way there. Well read by Elizabeth Dowse for Balcatta. A poor ball there. Lucky to have it ricochet back to Van Herk for Perth. Good ball. Spadano. So not the usual home ground for Perth Soccer Club. Usually playing their home fixtures at Dorian Gardens, of course. Here's a chance. That's a mistake from the substitute stand-in goalkeeper, Isabella Comito. Took too long on that, and from where I was standing, it looks like that was deflecting into the back of the net off the closing down. Very fortunate to see a clearance skew wide. Perth corner. Duncanson will put the in-swinger in. In fact, she plays it short to Jess Byrne. Back to Duncanson. Oh, good cross in. Duncanson again is offside. Finds a shot, and that was sure goalkeeping from Isabella Comito. Balcatta initially looking to play it out from the bat. The long ball closed down. Diopra can't get there ahead of Connolly, who wheels away from Diopra of the Monique variety. Ball comes in, chance for the opener. And the shot was blocked from the skipper, Spadano. Perth just starting to push Balcatta back and get a bit of dominance on the ball. And it will be a Balcatta throw for Talia Diopra. Godding's touch is straight. And that invites pressure back on the Balcatta back line. Just exchanging throw-ins at the moment on that far touchline. A really important game, this one, for both sides, with the top four cup looming, entering the final stages of the regular season. As I mentioned, Balcatta with a huge game in that top four race on the weekend against Mum FC. Chance Spadano keeps going. Well defended by Diopra. Back out and in. It's on the head of Kamito. She punches and punches well there. Still Balcatta can't clear. They do so now. Van Hurik's first touch was a little strong. Second touch was creative, but likewise a little strong. So currently on the league table, Balcatta in fourth. Perth one spot ahead of them in third. So Perth look like they will most likely be playing top four cup football at the end of the season. Balcatta still have a fair bit to play for, especially if they can't get the 3 points against Murdoch University Melville on the weekend. That will be a really entertaining one. But as I say, a bit of a crossroads, because both of these sides could be potentially in the running for two pieces of silverware. The league title, of course, is long since been done and dusted. And Perth Red Star could be crowned champions in the next week or two, with a month or so still remaining in the season. Oh, lovely turn there on the far side. The ball looking for Duncanson. Important touch, and it's a poor one. Duncanson gets there first. Gets run into from the goalkeeper, perhaps. If she'd gone down, the referee would have had a decision to make. It was definitely a collision there, and she doesn't look to be completely okay. As she walks around, seems to be shaking it off. She will be all right to continue. Yeah, just a bit of a misread at the back there from Karis Davis. Not an easy player to marshal at all, Jamie Duncanson. These sides have played 3 times already now this season. This is their 4th. They played all the way back in round 1. Perth getting up by 2-0 there, and in round 8, same result, Perth victory by 1-0, and on the weekend a 1-0 as well. So 3 wins and 3 clean sheets for the home side against their opponents tonight. Rough maths will tell me that's about 4.5, coming up on 5 hours of football that Balcatta have played against Perth this season without scoring. But that's been a struggle that hasn't been limited to their games against Perth. The start of the season was very devoid of goals for Balcatta Etna. Failed to score in their first 2 rounds, on their first 2 games, and then put 4 past Curtin, and then failed to score again in the next 3. So 5 games in their first 6 they didn't score, and 3 games against Perth they haven't scored. That will be their challenge tonight. I have been told that if nobody scores, it will go straight to penalties. Perhaps that may be Balcatta's best chance. Here's Jess Byrne charging down the left-hand touchline. Looks to poke one to nobody in particular. It's cut out and Perth will take the throw. Van Hurk stepping into what would usually be the left-back's role there. The throw-in was intended for their left-back, Jess Byrne, and out off a Balcatta defender. This time it will be Byrne to take the throw. Perth still controlling the game. Most of the action has been down to the left of screen in this first half. Hacked from behind there. By the looks of things, Kontinabali. A square ball's a dangerous one. A chance for a tap in. The ricochet comes back. And Cass Harvey opens it. 1-0 Balcatta. The whistle blows. There will be a consultation with the linesman. I don't know whether it would be potentially a handball. It is a handball against Cassandra Harvey. I think the initial shot that was well saved by Rebecca Bennett that deflected fortuitously back to Cassandra Harvey, bobbled off her. My eyesight's not good enough to tell me what part of the body, but linesman and referee get together and deem it was arm or hand. And of course, if you do score directly from the ball coming off your arm, it will be a handball regardless of whether it's deliberate or not. And that's the decision here by the refereeing team. So Balcatta thought they had their first goal in 4 games against Perth Soccer Club this season, and it was ruled out. Floodlights at UWA Sports Park keep coming off and on. No doubt somewhat of a distraction for the players. Here's Meekins laying it off. Spadano gives it and drives. She might look to get it back. Ball in intended for either Meekins or Duncanson. Narrow and out for a Balcatta goal kick. Diopra. Good ball down the line. Harvey already had 1 goal ruled out tonight, and just as Balcatta were about to pull away, I think it was the Balcatta players complaining that they weren't receiving a free kick. Niall Gilmore was trying to allow the advantage, and then as the advantage really sprung, he blew his whistle, I think, due to the protestations from the visitors. Perhaps would have been better served to carry on playing football. Ball forward. Hint of an offside there, but flag stays down. Flicked around the corner for Talia Diopra. It'll be seen out well. I think that may have come off the Perth defender, according to Talia Diopra. You could hear it from up here. Risky playing the ball there on the touchline like that. Godding pops it out. Ball comes in. Bennett claims comfortably and burns in a bit of space. Duncanson ahead of her. Davis just backpedals. The ball forward. In the end, looking for Liana Cook. Was cut out, and Perth can start again. Van Herk. Connolly with a little bit of circus juggling. Back to Byrne. All the way back to Bennett. Well, Perth have controlled possession, controlled the game, but haven't created many chances of note. The best chance of the game coming to Balcatta just minutes ago. Cassandra Harvey pouncing on a stray pass and through one-on-one with Rebecca Bennett, who was out very quickly to make a smart save. Ricocheted back off the Balcatta number 4 into her path, and she tapped it home. Balcatta celebrated, but after a conference between referee and assistant referee, the goal was chalked off for a handball. And that leaves us at Perth Soccer Club 0, Balcatta 0. As we expected, tight, low scoring, tense affair. Meakin stumps that one long. Connolly will look to get in behind Monique Diopra, but she wins the header. The Balcatta number 2 tracks back and clears the danger. Good composed defending. Judy Connolly, always a tricky customer, the ex-NTC graduate. Consinabali. There's a free kick for Balcatta. Karis Davis makes her way forward to the right wing. Balcatta worked this one well. Nice little set-piece routine cut out by Van Herk. The pass from Doust looked dangerous. Flicked on. April Nossen involved heavily in that move, and Consinabali fouled. And a Balcatta free kick in a dangerous position. We're about 20 minutes into this first half, and this is going to get more and more tense if the score stays as it is. Straight to penalties if level at full time. Diopra goes... Well, I thought she went direct. It was a bit of a halfway house between shot and cross. Bennett came and claimed it well. Looks for Duncanson. Diopra reads it perfectly. Byrne cushions it back for Van Herk. And a chance now for McMurdo to turn on the ball. Spadano back to Bennett. Clipped down the line by Phillips. Connolly comes and ducks in front of her opposite number, Veroni. Out to Byrne on the touchline. And for Duncanson, Van Herk with time as called by her keeper. Turn around the corner, just out of the reach of Donnelly, but she stretches and halves the contest. The ball comes out for Duncanson, who now has Byrne on the overlap. Byrne with a chance to get it in, has to check back on the right foot. Not a natural left back. Van Herk, Duncanson. Just skips over Spatafor's head. It's a difficult one for her. Deals with it well enough. Back to Phillips. Connolly. Toe pokes it on for a teammate, but one Diopra to the other, and they're out Balcatta, but turning it over at midfield. Byrne for Perth. Just showed a bit of it to the Balcatta midfielder. Not enough to take possession. The pass forward, though, is stray, and Douse takes over. Diopra back to Comito. Pressing high now, Perth Soccer Club, but Balcatta beat the press, and once again Diopra to Diopra, and Talia's away. The ball down the line is blocked. Quick throw in though. Bennett gives Bird a job. A little strong for her. Davis with the throw. Nice little bit of control there and a foul drawn. Good football by Godding. Georgia Cooley on the set piece for Balcatta. Low and flat, too low. Just a little slowing of the tempo here from both sides. Set pieces and throw-ins that no one's in a real rush to take. It's only a few days since they played, of course, and another game on Sunday. I know for Balcatta, I'm not sure. For Perth, I'll check that at half-time. Headed on for Continabali. If she gets there first, she's a chance. She rounds one. She does take the chance, and Balcatta this time take the lead. A beautifully composed goal from Lauren Continabali, and it's Perth Soccer Club 0, Balcatta 1. We are just a couple of minutes away from what I believe would have been 5 hours of football against Perth Soccer Club, where Balcatta had failed to score. They have now broken that run and broken it with some style and in a game of some import as well. Huge goal for Balcatta. And while Perth know that they can keep balls out of the net, they haven't been the most free-flowing scoring side in the league. They have just the 4th best defensive record, and in fact 8th place NTC have scored more. No slouches though, 20 goals in the league and 13 games, and of course filled their boots against Subiaco. I don't actually have all the goal scorers from that game. That was a 12-1 win, the round of 16. I met Fremantle in the quarterfinals and beat them by 4-1. So 16 goals in 2 games in the Cup would suggest that they do know how to find the back of the net. But Balcatta hoping that goals against Perth will be like buses in London here. They've got one now. And they'll be looking for another goal or two before half-time to really go in with the wind at their backs. Spadano takes a couple of touches away from trouble. Balcatta really cutting off passing lanes well and not giving Perth any way out, making it very difficult for the Azzurri. Davis with the throw. Nosson can't control. Davis cuts out the throw, but Byrne will go again. Long throw, perhaps anticipating a run in behind from Connolly. She didn't get it, but the Balcatta pass is straight to Spadano. She looked to thread it through for Duncanson, but Davis gets there first for Balcatta. Clearance turned around the corner beautifully by Godding, and a nice little back heel as well from Nosson. Godding just gets there, and oh, I tell you what, another little back heel flick there for the run of Nosson would have been nice. Duncanson looks to flick it over to herself. Nosson clears. Perth throw. So without having a lot of the ball in this first half, Balcatta, when they have had it, they've made the most of it. Certainly created the better of the opportunities, and a chance now again on the counter-attack if they can get it on quickly. Harvey making a nuisance of herself and winning it back. Godding has Harvey ahead of her. That'll be a free kick. And the suggestion there from Niall Gilmore is that Emma McMurdo is getting close to infringing one too many times. Long ball in, just a little strong. Not a bad effort from Georgia Cawley into a good area. Just didn't get as much dip and whip as she was looking for. Turned over again quickly. Balcatta starting to look more and more dangerous as this half wears on. Chested up and down by Veroni. Square from Douse to Diopra. Wide to Talia Diopra. He couldn't find Continabali. Does find her now. A poor touch gives Duncanson an opportunity, but well read. Striding forward, Elizabeth Doust to deal with the danger. Nosson. Balcatta pressing. Ball in behind is an absolute peach. Continabali gets it caught up in her feet. The flag was up. It would not have counted, but that was close as well. Perth need to be careful here. A second would make things very difficult. Nosson on the turn, full of confidence at the moment. Byrne back to Van Herk, and Nosson too strong in the challenge in the eyes of the referee. Bennett. Through Spatterfall. Takes a deflection, it'll be a Perth throw. Connolly. Phillips. Back for Spatterfall, flying in there. The Balcatta player, Cassandra Harvey. Winning the ball out for a Perth throw. Spatterfall looks for Connolly. Nice turn, Judy Connolly. Back to Spatterfall. Cook unable to get there before the defence, but Perth will still maintain possession. Perth chance looking to square the ledger. Spadano thought about it, decided to take it around Diopra before she could pull the trigger. A tackle came, but it will be a Perth corner. Just under 10 minutes until half time. Perth would absolutely love an equaliser here. A chance on the volley. Good save. Back on the volley again for Van Herk. Two bites at the cherry. Continabali coming short for Balcatta. Chance to put a ball in over the top. No one wants to challenge Epel Nossen. Headed on for Continabali, and Nossen will keep going. She's on her own in the penalty box. If Continabali can get the ball in, she's marshalled well to the line by Phillips, and Phillips will come away with it. Continabali throws herself. Unable to keep the ball in that corner, but Balcatta do get it back. Ball in, and Harvey was onside if it was a little bit lighter of a touch on the pass. And it rolls through for Bennett. That'll bounce over Connolly. And she'll pick it up now. Doust failed to deal with it. Around a couple, one of them Georgia Corley. The cross doesn't reach Duncanson. A chance for Harvey to move things forward. Cut up by Van Herk. Spadano shares it with Byrne. Now for Connolly on the turn. Dropping deep to get involved in the game, Judy Connolly. So fleet of foot, so difficult to tackle. The tackle came in, but it was a little too slow. Perth free kick. Looking for Byrne, but the whistle blows. Not sure if... No, Gilmore had blown for time back on. He now instructs the Perth player to wait for his whistle, which comes now. Short from Van Herk. Spatafor toes it out wide. Cross comes in. Comito deals with it, but one of the Balcatta defenders dealt with the crosser illegally. Good position here for the set piece. Duncanson posts up just in front of Comito. Van Herk on the edge of the area. Meekins lurking in there as well. The ball comes in and header across the face. Connolly will look to retrieve, but just misjudges the bounce. Nice touch from Nossen, but just over the line before Godding could play it forward. Connolly just pushes off, creates a bit of space and gets a shot away. Just didn't catch it with the inside of the boot to get that curl she needed to draw it back inside the right-hand goal post. It'll be a Balcatta goal kick. There'll be a no rush. More than happy with the scoreline as it stands. And that is Perth Soccer Club 0, Balcatta Etna 1. As I mentioned earlier, the first goal in some 5 hours of football that Balcatta have played against Perth this season. (2-0 to Perth in round 1, 1-0 to Perth in round 8, and 1-0 to Perth on the weekend in round 15. But you would think Balcatta would trade all of those 3 results for a result tonight to put them in the cup final. And one more crack at Perth Red Star and some silverware this season. Only other cup up for grabs, the top 4 cup. Perth, you would think, should figure in that. And if Balcatta can get the job done against Murdoch on the weekend, that will go a long way to giving them a chance to compete for that particular trophy. May have to get past Perth Red Star in that one as well, who will most certainly have their sights set on a treble this season. Davis's throw in for Godding. Godding just received a bit of treatment from behind. I think it'll be a free kick for Balcatta rather than a throw. Cooley will be the dead ball taker. Doused rumbles forward. She's standing right on the penalty spot. Just Judy Connolly up for Perth. Ball to the back post from Cooley's good. Headed down and back across goal. Duncanson could get there and field if she wants to, or she could let it run. In the end, she does let it run and then holds it up right at the last second when she could have seen it out. Nossent pokes it down the line for Godding. Retrieved well. Donnelly can't control that one on her chest on the bounce, backing into the defender. Meekins. Good ball there for Spadano. Spadano for Connolly. Just wanted to flick it with the outside of the left boot into her path. Creative attempt at control. Just came back off the studs. And that's been the story of Perth's night so far. Plenty of endeavour, the right ideas and creativity, but just haven't quite been able to execute, especially in the final third. Byrne. Great ball there, lowering the eyes to find Connolly. Van Herk. Duncanson keeps asking for it down the line. Spadano's first touch was delightful, as was the ball. Spatafor back for an eventual cross in from Cook. Nobody arriving in a blue shirt. Kamito will take her time, bounce the ball a handful of times and thump it high and long up to halfway. Cushion down well for Duncanson. Just scrambling back and forward there, McMurdo, unable to get a touch on it, but Van Herk comes away. Spatafor back for Phillips. Perth pushing for an equaliser before half-time. Connolly just dropping deeper and deeper and deeper as this half goes on. Switching positions back and forth with Abby Meekins on occasion. Drifting out to the wing as well. Diopra throw for Balcatta. Godding pokes on for Harvey. Final touch is off the Balcatta number 4, and Perth will take the throw. They have defended very solidly tonight, Balcatta. They've given up the lion's share of possession for large parts of this game. But when Perth have knocked it around, they've knocked it around and failed really to penetrate. It's been a good performance at the back from that back four, Davis and Doust, and the pair of Diopras. Perhaps a chance for Perth here, looking for Duncanson. Well read again by Doust. Back for Connolly. No one around her. She has to check back, and Balcatta once again stave off another Perth attack. Thump forward, and here's going to be a chance. That one was close. We are right in line with that one, and for me that was onside, but I'm not the one with the flag. Phillips will take the resultant controversial set piece, pumps it forward, and Kamito will control it for Balcatta. The ball bounces to Meekins, but Harvey robs her of possession and then turns it back inside nicely. Veroni back for Harvey. Ball deflects in. Godding just won't get there in time. Bennett out and out quickly. Reading the play well, the Perth goalkeeper. And rolling it out for Phillips. And there is the final whistle from Niall Gilmore of this first half. A first half that's seen Balcatta break their long scoring drought against Perth Soccer Club this season. It's a delightfully taken chip after Lauren Contenabali rounded the on-rushing Rebecca Bennett. And that was the only goal in the first half. Harvey thought she'd scored earlier. The ball ricocheted back off an arm, according to the officials. So we find ourselves here at UWA Sports Park in the Women's State Cup semi-final for 2022 with the score Perth Soccer Club 0, Balcatta Etna 1. Back with the second half after this. And welcome back to UWA Sports Park, wherever you are watching for this second half of the Hyundai Women's State Cup 2022 semi-final. The winner to play Perth Red Star. And that is the prize at the end of the tunnel for either of these sides. At the moment it is advantage Balcatta, given to them by Lauren Continabali. A beautifully taken lob after rounding keeper and defender. And for all of Perth's spells of possession in the first half, they certainly didn't create anywhere near as much as Balcatta by the way of scoring opportunities. Cass Harvey had one ruled out for a handball. Continabali scored, and then there was a very, very close offside right at the end that would have seen them in again. Here's a chance for Meekins though, and the flag is up. Another close offside. Better signs though from Perth, getting into a dangerous area. Just at number 8, just not quite timing the run. She has cycled in that number 9 position with Judy Connolly throughout that first half. Looks to be leading the line to start the second. That ball just teasing Godding, looking like she could have been through if it had a few more legs. That one, too many legs. Out for a Talia Diopra throw-in. Good performance this so far from Balcatta, given they are without 2 of their star players in Gabby Dalbusco and Monique Prinsloo, both out with COVID. And that'll be a Balcatta throw for me and for the referees. Diopra flicked on by Harvey, but no one in behind. Phillips will take her time and roll it back to Bennett. Bennett likewise will take her time and finds Maya Spatafor. She's closed down well there by Georgia Cooley. Certainly not making it easy for their hosts tonight, Balcatta. Struggle to think of a clear-cut scoring opportunity Perth have had in this game. It's not like Perth have conceded a flood of chances tonight, but all the goal-scoring chances that there have been for the visitors. That ball forward is a good one for Meekins to run onto and try and hassle Dowse. She does just that. And really good defending on the cover. Karis Davis, that was superb. She was the last chance to snuff out that attack for Balcatta. Aside from the goalkeeper, of course, but Kamito was not called into action. She has her right back to thank for that. That one over the top. Again looking for Continabali, who could have been in for a second. Dowse pokes it forward. Harvey pouncing on a loose pass from Perth. Cook likewise from Balcatta. Diopra to Diopra and back down the line for Veroni. Tries to hold off Spadano. Does hold off Spadano and draws the foul. Cooley entrusted again with the dead ball. The big bodies rumble forward. Doused look to get her head on this. The ball doesn't have the requisite distance on it. And Cooley just getting into the back there of her opponent. That ball over the top for Meekins, who's onside. If it reaches her, it doesn't. She leaves it for Cook. Cook drops it back for Spadano. Balcatta's slender lead remains. Good hit from Zoe Spadano, just a fraction wide of that left-hand goalpost. A little better from Perth in this second half. Meekins was marginally offside early on when she had a goal-scoring opportunity. That was a good one for Spadano, probably as close as they've come, at least as far as my dodgy memory goes. Davis clears and Perth feel like they're pressing now. Just pinning Balcatta back, knocking on the door. Can they find a way through? The diagonal just a little strong, but really well cushioned down by Cook. She'll lay it off for Spadano again. This time she'll try and slide one across the 6-yard box. Diving in to cut it out is Douse, but it's a Perth corner. And the Azzurri starting to look dangerous here. Jess Byrne will take the corner after she gets the ball to sit exactly how she wants. Away swinger right on her head. And that head is just over the bar. Meekins close again for Perth. That change to push Meekins higher up the pitch seems to be paying dividends so far. Spadano's had a good game for Perth. She's been everywhere in midfield. If they're controlling possession and they're controlling the tempo, then Zoe Spadano generally has a lot to do with it. Poked away by Godding, but mopped up by McMurdo. Van Herk's ball wide for Duncanson. She is not fouled as far as the referee is concerned. But Perth will mop up possession and carry on. Duncanson calling for it on the left wing. And they do try and force it back to the left. Back out for Spatafor. It'll be a Perth throw. They do have some talent on the bench, Perth, if they're looking for someone to come on and change the game, score some goals. Nadia Harvey, Stella Zampogna, Ella Lincoln, Sophia Papalia and Jamie Gibbons, all an option for Peter Rakic. And in fact, one of those options he'll be taking right now. Nadia Harvey is ready to come on and join the fray. I mentioned earlier the website that records all of the scores for the State Cup did not have all the goal scorers for Perth's 12-1 win over Subiaco in the last round. I can tell you that in that match, Ella Lincoln did get 4 goals. She is an option for Pete Rakic on the bench, the Perth number 9. Should be happy with 1 tonight. A chance here for Perth. Poke forward. Douse is going to have to get there and she lunges in beautifully. Still a chance though for Perth, but scuffed just wide by Cook. Wow, that was a wonderful tackle, wasn't it? Last ditch lunge from Elizabeth Douse. Got all ball. If she had have mistimed that one at all, very likely they would have found themselves down to 10 men. I've been told that Courtney Butley and Jamie Duncanson both got braces in that thumping win over Subiaco as well. But will it be the 4-goal star in that game to come off the bench and be a hero for Perth tonight? We will wait and see. Balcatta have been excellent tonight, but cracks just starting to open up in this second half. Beautiful ball over the top for Cook. Well, Diopra got there, didn't know much about it, came back off the back of her heel. And Kontinabali can look to turn now, but she loses out to Judy Connolly and then gives away the free kick. Connolly. So strong on the ball for a diminutive frame, Judy Connolly. Cook continues her run and wants it back. Spadano turns back for Connolly. Her cross is scuffed and she's not happy with herself. Thanks for joining us live on NPL.tv for the Hyundai WA State League semi-final. I'm Sean Fry. I'll call the remainder of this one for you. My pleasure to have you with me on this beautiful, balmy Wednesday evening. Ball over the top for Harvey. Too strong, and Bennett claims. Spadano just drops the shoulder there and goes away from one, goes away from two. Will she take on a third? Opts for the pass. Diopra clears. And Harvey will get there ahead of Phillips, who just backtracked and let the Balcatta forward in on the ball. Then did well enough to marshal her out to the touchline. Balcatta can't get a ball in. Perth clear. Diopra opposed to Meekins, and Meekins gives away a foul. Balcatta a chance to take a breather over this set piece. Cawley will leave it for Doust. He curls one in beautifully and almost turned home for a second. Monique Diopra getting forward. And the Balcatta centre half just about turned it wide of the left-hand goal post, but that wasn't too far away. It was a beautiful ball in and a good run from the defender. Harvey. Chance again, but nipping in is Spadano to put an end to that chance. Connolly finds some space in midfield. Duncanson leaves it for Meekins. Talia Diopra down the line for Harvey. Lovely little touch from Harvey to get around the first defender, but Jess Byrne came out and cleared the danger on the second attempt. Will we see some more action on the benches soon? Diopra's throw. Now a Perth throw. Poked forward by Cooley, but Perth pounce on it. Connolly working her way into this game. Harvey. Back for Harvey, the substitute. Clips that one dangerously into midfield. One Harvey to another, not her intended recipient though. Headed on by Cook. And again, well read on the last line of defence by Elizabeth Doust. She's done that a few times tonight. Coming up big when her team's needed her. Spadano just lent on her opponent. Referee happy enough with it. Back for Byrne, who's now out on the right-hand side with the arrival of Harvey. Probably a more natural position for her. Ball over the top for Harvey is onside, but the ball's running away from goal. She has to take a touch to steady herself. Spatafor tries to close down. The ball does come in. Perth clear. Connolly robbed of it. Hit by Cooley. A rather speculative effort from all of 45 yards. You'd be hoping for a goalkeeping mistake to score from there, you'd think. Duncanson came out, left it for a teammate. Harvey drops it back. Connolly at left back. Trying to get wherever she can on the pitch to get involved in this game, Connolly. Byrne, the close option for Bennett. She uses that now. She has Spatafor on the touchline. Back for Byrne. Cook making the run down the right wing. Duncanson down the left. Meekins through the middle. The ball is overhit for all three of those. So Jess Byrne certainly in a more natural position for her right centre half. Maya Spatafor on the right of her at full back. Nadia Harvey at left back. Faye Phillips remains as the other centre half. Harvey. Nice ball for Veroni if she can get there first. She does get there, but Jess Byrne read it perfectly. Good cover from the centre half there. If you're going to come out there and commit to the tackle, you really need to time it right as a centre back. She certainly did. Angelique Albert's receiving some final instructions on the bench for Balcatta. Be expecting to see her soon. Nice little nudge there from Meekins. Waits for the cavalry to arrive. Duncanson does. She drops it back for Connolly. Now Spadano. Spadano's got Cook wide. The pass not wide enough. Byrne stepping out again there. Not quite getting there in time, but not doing enough in the way of contact through the back of Kontinabali to concede the free kick. Cawley tries to pass it for one of her forwards. I'm not sure which one. She gets another chance here. Godding trying to dribble past a couple. Referee letting play continue. Perth could be in behind here. Just snatching at that one a little early, possibly. Abby Meekins could have continued running with it, perhaps. Spadano gets a head on it first, knocks it back. Well read and well mopped up by McMurdo, turning away from pressure and solidifying possession, but they lose that possession now. Byrne has to come out again. And Byrne times it well again. Now that substitution will be happening as soon as the referee notices his linesman's flag, and we'll be joined by Angelique Alberts. Let's see what she can do to help her side close out the game. Well, I said not to expect too many goals tonight. We've had just the one for Lauren Kontinabali. It was a beautifully taken goal in the first half after Cassandra Harvey had one ruled out for a handball. For Perth in this second half, Zoe Spadano flashed one across the face and Abby Meekins headed over from a corner. More chances than they had in the first half, certainly, but Judy Connolly's given that one away to the substitute. Albert's almost making an instant impact. And now the two substitutes do battle. Harvey wins out down the line for Duncanson, who heads it on. Cawley getting in there as these floodlights at UWA Sports Park are almost be causing trouble for people with issues with flashing lights. They're going on and off at a remarkable rate. Balcatta free kick right on the halfway line. Headed high and away. Diopra from Diopra. Sprawling touch is good enough to get it into the path of Harvey, and Harvey wins a throw. As the rain starts to trickle down here. Balcatta throw right near the corner flag. Headed down to Harvey. Spadano gets a foot in, but can't get it clear. Diopra crosses and a chance for Perth to clear, not taken. Cawley. Just turnover after turnover at the moment. Pete Rakic on the Perth coaching bench is telling his substitutes to hurry up and get ready. He wants to bring them on soon and shake things up. 3 substitutes warming up. I wonder if we'll see all 3. One of them will be the 4-goal scorer from the quarterfinal, Ella Lincoln, and the number 9. Sophia Papalia. And Zamponia as well. But here is the Balcatta substitute looking to double their lead, and Albert's shot in the end is just over the bar. So it looks like it will be a triple sub for Perth when Pete Rakic decides to pull the trigger. Turn around the corner, nicely cushioned, but just wide of Spadano, and the slip has resulted in a foul for Balcatta. Still anyone's game, just the one goal in it. The ball long over the head of a sprawling Diopra. And now the triple sub will be made. I heard Faye and Emma, so that is Phillips and McMurdo making way. Two of the players making way. As the rain starts to come down a little heavier. We are under a reasonably big tree here on the halfway line, but still should have brought my umbrella. So Faye Phillips making way along with McMurdo. I did hear the instructions for Zoe Spadano to drop into centre half. So expect Perth to throw the kitchen sink at this final 15 minutes or so. Well, thankfully, Goran on the cameras has brought his umbrella. Much more organised than me. And there goes Zoe Spadano at centre half, just dribbling past a couple like she's in midfield. Poked on by Godding. Spadano has Alberts in her back and wins the foul. Taken down the line for Meekins. She's just sells Byrne into trouble, and Harvey with a chance. Gets there. Has Alberts inside. Might go herself. Cassandra Harvey looks to poke it back for Alberts, but she just checked her run. If she had have just gone direct at goals, may have found herself on the end of that Cassandra Harvey pass to double Balcatta's lead. Balcatta corner. A second here would make it very difficult for Perth. We have been told it will be direct to penalties if we're level. Nice touch from Cooley. Dived in at the end there a little recklessly, and that was spotted by Niall Gilmore. Yellow card. Didn't make any contact with the players, I don't think, but certainly the nature of the tackle was what he was unhappy with. And the physio will be out. There may have been a head clash or something in midfield. I can't quite make out the Balcatta player down. And it is one of the Diopras. I keep saying it. Talia, I believe. She'll have to leave the pitch as she did receive treatment from the physio on the field. Hopefully it's just a matter of a quick check that she's okay and getting her back on the pitch. Momentarily down to 10, Balcatta. Oh, beautiful turn, Zoe Spadano. Duncanson. Cook. Cuts back inside. Duncanson fizzes one across and off the crossbar. Meekins couldn't follow it up. And Perth were that close to levelling it up. It wasn't an intentional shot, I'm sure, from that angle from Jamie Duncanson, but it bounced back down off the crossbar and out. It's going to be a backs-to-the-wall performance, you'd think, in these final 10 minutes of this State Cup semi-final. The second best defence in the league has been breached by Balcatta in the first half. Kontinabali chip. The difference, the only goal in this game. The only goal so far. Perth will be hoping that changes. Spadano in a race with Alberts. So composed. Plays centre half like she plays midfield, doesn't she? Not afraid to drop the shoulder and take a player on. Haven't seen her make a mistake doing it yet, but of course, when you're at centre half, if you do make a mistake, it can mean big trouble. Duncanson making a run through the middle. Pokes it on, but Diopra will get there first. And does well to clear out of the reach of Cook, who will pursue it back to the corner flag. Only a throw, taken quickly. Meekins. Back for Cook. Headed away, and that'll be a foul. Just jumping into the back of the defender was Jamie Duncanson. A little bit of time being taken over this set piece. Taken now. Brought down by Meekins. Dangerous pass. And she's fortunate at the ball forward from Nosson. Didn't find a target. Godding in pursuit. Does enough to put off Papalia. Perth Soccer Club 0, Balcatta Etna 1. Not long left in the second half of this semi-final. Perth looking to break and find an equaliser. Byrne lays it off for Spadano. Spadano back for Bennett, who thumps it high and long over the head of Judy Connolly, though. She's drifted out of this second half. So we have about 11 minutes plus Niall Gilmore's additions for injuries and stoppages. We did have Talia Diopra down. We've had a few substitutions, so expect a handful of extra minutes on top of the 90. Here's Liana Cook. She'll look to get it back, and she does. First time cross in. Connolly takes the touch and slips. And Balcatta really dropping numbers back and Perth throwing numbers forward. They are going to be vulnerable on the break if they continue to attack as aggressively as they have in the last couple of phases of play. 4 forwards up on the Balcatta back 4. If Connolly can get it, it's 4 on 4 ahead of it. Just can't pick the pass, but Diopra misjudged it. Rolled through. Surely a chance. Great block again. Elizabeth Doust. She has done it time and time again in this second half. And she would have to be up in the reckoning for player of the match tonight. What a performance from the woman they call EJ. Curled in over the head of Zamponia. Harvey drops it back, another ball in, Byrne volleys across. And guess who? There again to clear. Elizabeth Dowston on the clearance. The volley did come back in, but wide of goal. Well, it looks like Elizabeth Dowston is going to start taking the goal kicks as well. Why not? When you're having the sort of game she's having tonight. Bennett up the middle. Papalia knocks it wide. Bennett has Spadano short. It's just bobbling a little and inviting the press. It just bobbles over Harvey's boot as she looked to pull the trigger. Volley out for Diopra was too heavy. Burns steps inside Harvey. Defender just getting into the back of Ella Lincoln a little. Referee allows play to go on. And Lincoln's pass forward only picks out a Balcatta defender. Albert's looking to chop inside. Duncanson now for Perth. Looking to escape the pressure. She slides in, pokes it straight out to Godding, who can put this one to bed. Great save by Rebecca Bennett. And Godding on the follow-up. Hit it wide. And if Perth get anything out of this, they'll look back on that save from Rebecca Bennett as a huge turning point. A foul in the back of Harvey there, surely. Byrne just misjudged it. I think that was the issue. She wasn't really contesting for the ball in the end. She'd run under it. That meant that her jump into the back of Harvey was deemed to be a foul. Monique Diopra for Balcatta. To curl one in, didn't quite catch it right. It's headed back across. Bennett comes and punches convincingly. The foul goes, as it so often does when there's any contact on the goalkeeper, to the goalkeeper. That ball on down the line. Lights back on, lights back off. Duncanson. Oh, good use of the body there. Shielded away from the attacker. Byrne loses out to Harvey. Godding now. Harvey in space, if she could reverse it. Here is Cassandra Harvey. Diopra on the overlap. Beautiful ball in behind for Talia Diopra. If she can get there, the flag is up. She wasn't getting there first anyway. As much as they want to complain, the flag most likely would have made very little difference. It does give Perth a chance to launch it forward, though, of course. And they don't take that chance. Turn it over immediately. Godding just losing her footing and was losing the ball. I think Papalia was going to come away with it, but then just clipping the heels of the Balcatta player was Abby Meekins. Balcatta just getting a little hurry on here from the referee. Not wanting to see any time wasting. Ball over, just looking for the outstretched toe. Try as she might on the stretch. Unable to turn it in to the Perth net. and double the lead. It was Monique Godding, and here goes her opposite number. Zoe Spadano doing what I mentioned earlier, playing like a midfielder at centre half. Here's Ella Lincoln, just taking a little too long on it. Godding tried to find Nossent, but Perth pounce again. Duncanson looking to create, and Pete Rakic sinks to his knees. I think he believes she was overcomplicating things there. Just needed to play the simple pass. That's what Perth could have done a few times. Liana Cook screaming for it on the right wing. She had a lot of space. Did seem like Bennett could have released it. Instead, she thumps it long, and there's only navy blue shirts back there. Although not willing to take a risk, Talia Diopra happy to just thump it clear. And that gives Perth a throw in high up the pitch. Cooks cross in a little heavy. Duncanson won't be able to retrieve it. Balcatta throw now at right back. Pops straight up in the air. A bit of head tennis. Mostly Balcatta. Volley. Caught sweetly. And handled cleanly by Comito. Time becoming the enemy of Perth. Over a minute into the final 5. Should be a reasonable chunk of extra time, so expect another 6 or 7 minutes at least. Plenty of time for Perth to score an equaliser. Alberts brings it down well and wins a corner. Just what the doctor ordered for Balcatta. Set piece up the right end as far as they're concerned, and they will not be throwing too many players forward for this, as Perth have 3 up, leaving 3 up on the corner. You don't see that too often, and it may even be 4. Well, this is some setup. Pete Rakic is throwing everything at this. Balcatta ball taken short. And that's it. A dangerous one, but it was perfectly executed. They look for the flag. It doesn't come. Alberts fires. Bennett saves again. And the gut instinct there was that the linesman did get that one exactly correct. Cook gets there just before the ball crosses the line, but can't keep it in with the header. Thrown back with a little bit of venom for Talia Diopra. That'll be a Perth throw. Burn. Gee, Judy Connolly was in a lot of space in midfield there. But the option was for Ella Lincoln, and she takes it away. And that'll be a booking for Monique Diopra, as Talia Diopra gets up off the turf. Just doing anything she could to claw and drag down the Perth number 9. I think Monique knew exactly what she was doing, and she'll be happy to take the booking. Won't be happy if Perth score, though, from the resultant free kick, of course. Cook to take it. Mere minutes remaining. Can Perth score and force a penalty shootout? Or perhaps even snatch a late winner? Cook's ball in, good area. Chested away. Talia Diopra clears. Perhaps had more time than she thought. Could have thumped it further down the line. As it is, it will be a throw up near the corner flag for Perth. Balcatta with 1 foot in the final. Duncanson fizzes it across. Off a defender and out for another Perth throw. Throw quickly taken. Spadano whips it in. Shanked clearance. Rebecca Bennett is up. inside the Balcatta half. She now retreats to the other side of halfway, but she'll be up trying to pen Balcatta in. Perth throwing as many blue shirts and even green shirts forward as they can. This is a real kitchen sink job here. Rebecca Bennett makes her way. She's 20 yards now forward of halfway, but that is a loose one, and it will be a Balcatta throw. Bennett in no rush to get back towards her goals, though. She's going to play a really high sweeping position for these final minutes. Not often you see a goalkeeper set up this high up the pitch for this long of a duration. In the centre circle now. And at any set piece, expect her to creep further and further forward. Gee, she'd love to score a goal, wouldn't she? Duncanson. Can't get it in. It ricochets out for Spadano. Spadano can get a ball in. It's a good ball in. Chance for Cook. Penalty! Perth do get a chance. Liana Cook was absolutely flattened after making the header. And it will be a Perth penalty, and how much pressure is on this. It was brave from the Perth winger. Went in for the header knowing that she could be cleaned up. She was, and that offers the opportunity to Abby Meekins to level things up late. There can only be seconds left. We're well into stoppage time. Abby Meekins for Perth Soccer Club to force a shootout in the semi-final. She buries it! What pressure! Oh, that was smashed home by the Perth number 8. And Rebecca Bennett has a long run back to goals, the full length of the pitch, after celebrating with the sky blue shirts. Wow, what drama. I said Pete Rakic and his side were throwing everything at it and the kitchen sink, and they have found an equaliser. And it is looking like this one will end 1-1. Is there a final twist in the tail? Cleared by Diopra. Perhaps Balcatta can strike back. Well, that would be a cruel sucker punch for Perth if Balcatta can find a late winner now. They'll look for it. Diopra pokes it forward. Monique Diopra can't find a target. Byrne will retrieve for Perth. She'll take her time, clear it down the line. It's a good clearance, but Talia Diopra's there. Can't control with the chest. Monique Diopra clears. It's end to end. Godding, or end to halfway at least. Alberts can't get the ball in. Crosses blocked. Byrne thumps it clear. Talia Diopra is down again. Chance. Charge down. Corley. Duncanson. Perth with a 3-on-2 here. They could win it. Doust is back. Diopra's back. You can't show any of it to EJ Doust at the moment. Talia Diopra is still on her haunches and doesn't look in a good way at all. This extended period of stoppage time will be extended further now with the second injury to Talia Diopra. It may be a recurrence of the first. Well, it gives us a chance to recap the first half where Perth controlled possession and controlled the tempo but created nothing of note by way of scoring chances, and Balcatta on the break looked dangerous every time. Cass Harvey had a goal ruled out for handball, and then not long after that, Kontinabali put Balcatta ahead. And then the second half has been a much improved performance from Perth Soccer Club. They've knocked on the door just like they did at the Murdoch University Melville game I was at a couple of weekends ago, where they did everything but score. It was the same story tonight, but finally, courtesy of a foul on Liana Cook, who bravely rose for a header before getting cleaned up, gave Abby Meekins a chance to equalise late from the spot, a chance which she took with both hands, buried into the top left corner. They were pushing so high that Rebecca Bennett was spending most of her time in the opposition half in the final 5 minutes. Cannot be long left here. Surely a matter of seconds. There is the final whistle just as Janet Gamma comes on. Well, she may have to take a penalty now. How's that? Has not touched the ball. And we will be going to a shootout. Abby Meekins has had a warm-up. And Janet Gamma getting a few touches with the Balcatta assistant coach now. So I was told that it will go straight to penalties by a few people before the game. I'm 99% sure that's what's happening. Who will be the takers? You would expect Abby Meekins to be one of them for Perth. But these are the moments where whoever feels the most confident in a penalty shootout, it is more about composure, confidence than anything else. Isabella Comito receiving some instructions before she heads back to the Balcatta huddle. We will find out shortly, I'm sure, which end the penalties will be taking place. If you're Balcatta, you'd be thinking you'd maybe just flip it around, since Meekins has had a bit of a warm-up to the right. Give her a different look maybe down to the left, but we'll see. The fourth official, Olivia Katona, goes to fetch the Perth captain to come and do the toss. April Nossent there with Zoe Spadano. So it's not a choice for the players of which end. It's a flip of the coin. It will be down to our right, where Perth scored from the penalty spot deep into stoppage time to send us to this shootout. The winner of this shootout will face Perth Red Star in the final. Perth going so close to being the first side to get something off of Perth Red Star. back in round 12 when they went down by a solitary goal to nil. Not bad against a side that scored nigh on 80 goals in 16 games this season. They held them to 1 but couldn't score themselves. They held Balcatta to 1 tonight and looked like they weren't going to score themselves, but they have. Scored 1 penalty. They'll be looking to score at least 5 more now. And Jamie Duncanson has already made her way down towards the penalty spot. So I'm guessing that suggests that Perth will be taking the first penalty. Slight advantage, the statistics will tell you, to the side that goes first, especially if that first penalty is scored. So a bit of pressure on Jamie Duncanson that she's gone straight down to take. As soon as they broke from the huddle, she went down, wasting no time, and she waits for the referee and goalkeeper. Of course, the goalkeepers now not allowed to move from their line on penalties. It used to be a different story. And that is what Niall Gilmore, I'm sure, is telling Isabella Comito. You must have at least 1 foot on the line when she dives. First penalty for Perth, Jamie Duncanson. Saved! Isabella Comito saves Perth's first penalty. And now that slight advantage from going first is more than eradicated. It's advantage Balcatta now. It wasn't the best of penalties. It was straight down the middle. Monique Godding with Balcatta's first. Perth 0, Balcatta 1. As it was for a large part of this game in regulation time. They now have the advantage and Perth have to come from behind again. They've done it once. Zoe Spadano will be the second penalty taker for Perth. Not happy with the spot of the ball. You could just see it roll off there. These penalties get harder and harder as the spot gets chopped up. Zoe Spadano fires and scores. Pulls it back to 1-1. Georgia Cooley will take number 2 for Balcatta. Rebecca Bennett looking to keep it out and restore parity. Referee blows his whistle. Cooley shoots. Bennett saves. It's 1-1. The flag is up, suggesting that she'd left her line and she'll get another chance, Georgia Cooley. Oh, the drama intensifies. And this time Cooley makes no mistake. Huge call from the assistant referee. I don't even know if there is a line there down in what's becoming a pretty cut up 6-yard box. And now Ella Lincoln, you would think, needs to score if Perth are going to come back. The left footer shoots and scores comfortably. Placed it into the bottom left. And here comes one of the most experienced Balcatta footballers at any grade. Monique Diopra. Been around the club since she was a youth. Absolutely loves Balcatta. And has a chance here to put them back ahead in the shootout. She does. Bennett goes the wrong way. And it is now 3-2. 2 penalties remain for both sides, at least. Abby Meekins has scored 1 in regulation time. Now tasked with the 4th penalty in the shootout. Other side, same result. Knotted up at 3. And April Nossent will take the next. And a successful penalty here puts 1 foot through the door and into the final. Nossent steps up and fires wide. 1 penalty remains and we're back level. And Judy Connolly, who, in all honesty, didn't have too many touches in the second half. And this is, well, it's not good signs. It's not what you want to see in a shootout. Oh, although I see Rebecca Bennett has sent her back because she wants to take the 5th penalty. Well, she wanted to get involved in the attacking third at the end of the game. She wants to get involved in the penalty shootout now. And you'd think if she scores, she'll be throwing down the gauntlet to Isabella Comito to say, come on, if I did it. She still has to do it, of course. I was going to say it was showing a lack of confidence, players not wanting to take it, but Rebecca Bennett has shown supreme confidence in saying, get back, I will deal with this, and now she's got a chance to make a save to put Perth into the final. Cassandra Harvey must score or Balcatta are out of the cup. Rebecca Bennett gives herself the chance to be the hero with that penalty. The penalty spot is not playing nice for Cassandra Harvey. She scores. We go to sudden death. A 6th penalty. And we edge closer and closer to the late substitute Janet Gamma potentially having to take a penalty with her first touch of the match. Probably some way to go before we get there. Judy Connolly had plenty of touches, more in the first half than the second. How can she deal with the pressure of a sudden death penalty? What pressure? Just like Abby Meekins in regulation, smashes it confidently into the top left. And now all of that pressure transfers to Balcatta substitute Angelique Alberts. And Bennett gets another chance to win it for Perth. Alberts must score for Balcatta. Alberts doesn't score. It's off the crossbar. And Bennett watches it before it spins back, making sure there was no chance of any sort of unfortunate spin into the back of the net. Then Perth pull off A late, dramatic victory here at UWA Sports Park. They are into the final. They will play Perth Red Star again. What a dramatic finish to this. The Balcatta players console one another, console Angelique Alberts. Always takes bravery to step up and take a penalty under those circumstances. Heartbreaking for the visitors, elation for Perth Soccer Club. A chance at some silverware. They obviously have the toughest of all challenges to come, though, with Perth Red Star in the final. They won't be thinking about that just yet. A chance to enjoy tonight. A huge semi-final win. I won't even try to recap the penalty shootout, but I can tell you what happened during the game, and that was that Balcatta defended excellently in the first half, countered well, had 3 or 4 really good chances, one of which Lauren Continabali chipped home. And then the second half, Perth pressed, and it looked like they left their run too late. But Liana Cook went in for a header in stoppage time. She was fouled. Penalty was given, and Abby Meekins smashed it home, and that led us to a shootout. A shootout which Jamie Duncanson stepped up in first and had her penalty saved. And she is now receiving hugs from her teammates. She will be the most relieved player on this pitch. I think she's wiping away tears there. Relief for Duncanson as Rebecca Bennett in the end stepped up and took the 5th. A couple of misses for Balcatta. The final one from Angelique Albert that hit the crossbar as close as you can come. But Perth Soccer Club win 1-1 in regulation time. They go through on penalties. Well, what a finish. I hope you've enjoyed wherever you're watching. Thank you for joining me. I am and will continue to be Sean Fry. It's been a pleasure calling the action for you tonight. I'll hopefully see you at the final. What a game. Final score 1-1. Perth Soccer Club through on penalties. Enjoy your night.